With our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio today. We've got another wildlife show for you, one of my favorite shows to do. I think the last show we did was the Black-Footed Ferret with Zen Makarski with Game and Fish. Steve Sams is in studio today. Hello.
Good morning.
Good to see you. We're going to talk some turkey with you.
You bet.
Last year I brought up to Ryan a few times that I would really like to get somebody in here to talk about wild turkeys. And I'm just going to let the folks know just kind of how this played out this morning. But I remembered years ago doing a story about turkey reintroduction or turkey releases taking place up on Mingus Mountain.
Right.
And I talked to somebody at Prescott National Forest about it, but couldn't remember who it was. And here you sit. And I just found that out about 5 minutes ago. So that is really awesome.
It's good to be here, and I'm looking forward to talking about turkeys.
You helped us out with the Flying High Turkey Drive.
Oh, absolutely, every year.
Mm-hmm. Steve has brought in some of his turkey calls, of course, and we're going to go through those. But we're also going to talk about the wild turkeys in Arizona, where they're at, why they're being reintroduced. Are they being reintroduced? Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Reintroduced to Arizona. Give me some history. Give me some history, some turkey history for Arizona.
For Arizona.
Yeah. Also sit back and relax and listen.
Wild turkey is an indigenous species for Arizona. We had two of the five subspecies in Arizona. The Merriam's turkey, which is tied to the Ponderosa pine belt, and the Gould's turkey, which is found only in eastern Arizona and southwestern New Mexico in the United States, and a lot down in the Sonora part of Old Mexico. But they were always here. And then when settlement occurred,
when we showed up
and started needing food for the miners, for the military, whatever, market hunters started harvesting them and seriously reduced the population in Yavapai County particularly. While they were never extinct, the populations were drawn down drastically until conservation efforts were put into place, and then the population started to build back up again, and we continue to do that today.
Okay. Now, tell me the difference between the two. There's the Merriam. I've heard that name attached to a different animal. Is there a Merriam deer?
Merriam elk.
Merriam elk.
Which is extinct.
And is that named after the particular species of elk, or is it named after someone from
a scientist?
A scientist, okay.
Yeah. That's just, you'll find that happens quite often in the taxonomy that occurs in naming flowers and animals, that sort of thing. It'll be named after a particular individual that studied them and made that distinction that they were a separate subspecies.
Okay, so he's got the elk and the turkey. So give me, what's the difference between a Merriam turkey, which lives in Yavapai County, and then the Gould's turkey, which is in, you said, southeastern Arizona and southwestern New Mexico only?
Right. Okay. Phenotypically or physically, they look very similar. They have a white band on the tip of their tail, but the Gould's turkey band is considerably wider than the Merriam's turkey, and their legs are a lot longer. They're actually the tallest of the five subspecies.
The Gould is.
Yes.
Is the tallest
of
them all. Now let's go to the grocery store for a second, and I've seen turkeys in farms where when Young's Farm was up and running, you could go there and see turkeys as far as you could look, and they get to be the big white ones, those big toms. Do these turkeys have that trait where they get that big, or
no,
they're much smaller? Wouldn't they be?
No, an average Merriam's turkey male is going to be about 18 to 21 pounds, live weight, where you're buying your butterball, at 20 to 30 pounds in the grocery store.
Some obnoxious weight.
Those birds have been bred, for their meat and
food and water's right there all the time.
And there is no comparison. People that know domestic turkeys think turkeys are stupid. Well, domestic turkeys are. Their brains have been bred out. They're bred for that big breast. Yeah. Where wild turkeys are an extremely wary critter that can see and hear 20 times better than a human being. They're everything in the woods. Every predator wants to eat them, so they have evolved to be a very wary animal, and that's what makes them so challenging to hunt. Is that you have to be on your game in order to be able to get one in range.
Tell me about their preferred habitat.
Merriam's turkey, as I said, are tied to the ponderosa pine forest type, and they also utilize that interface between the pinyon and juniper area, especially where there's oak. Turkeys eat mast seeds, pine seeds, pinyon nuts, oak, acorns, the soft mast like berries, and so they're going to occur in areas where they can find that food. They roost for the most part in ponderosa pine trees. They'll groups of 7 or 8 ponderosa pine that are 18 inches or bigger with nice flat limbs that they can fly up onto and be safe at night.
Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you call it? What do you call it when you get a group of turkeys together?
A flock.
A flock of turkeys. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that up in the trees?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. And
I've not been lucky enough to see that one.
They're amazingly strong flyers. They can stand on the ground and fly 60 feet up in the air.
See, now that's a question I was going to have for you today too, because I was told, and correct me if I'm wrong, and whoever this was that told me this, I'm going to find them. I'm going to tell them I'm wrong too. I had heard that turkeys are lousy flyers, and that what turkeys will do is they'll find like a ridge or say a dirt road up here, and then they'll see their landing spot down here, and they'll just sort of throw themselves off and flap and get to where they need to be and roost.
Well, your friend is actually correct.
Okay,
they
all
do
right.
that.
Well, leave them alone then.
Like many of us, they can get lazy. Why would you exert all that energy to fly up there when you can walk up the hill and just kind of glide into your bed?
Okay.
So he's actually correct. That's exactly what they do.
Now, is the Gould's turkey down in the southeastern part of the state, living in the same type of terrain?
No,
it's not.
They're in vegetation that's much shorter.
Okay.
Pinyon trees and oak, and they'll roost in those trees rather than the tall ponderosas.
Do you ever know how low the numbers got in Arizona? A number.
Turkey numbers is a very nebulous thing because they're extremely difficult to survey. You can't fly over with an airplane and count them. So there were probably fewer than 100 of the Gould's turkeys left, and maybe even less than that. They were down in the Huachucas and the Chiricahuas in southern Arizona. Now they're doing extremely well because the Arizona Game and Fish Department and the National Wild Turkey Federation have partnered to bring turkeys up from Mexico and reestablish populations. And now we're capturing birds in southern Arizona in one mountain range and moving them to another one to get them back into the areas where they historically were. So populations are doing very well.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned. We got to take a break.
All right.
Steve Sams is in studio. He's with the Yavapai Yelpers. That's the group. What do you call yourselves? Yavapai Yelpers.
Yavapai Yelpers chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Okay. And then Tim Denny was going to be with us this morning. Couldn't. He's with the Mingus Mountain Longbeards, which represents the Verde Valley side.
Correct.
But you're all with the National Wild Turkey Federation.
Right.
Part of that chapters. All right. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
I was in junior high the first time I caught my mom using denial. She had to have known her painkillers were missing because I kept stealing them. Her denial was so out of hand.
So she doesn't even know? I'm going out.
It was like I could get away with anything.
You kids have fun.
And that was when I knew. And she was addicted to denial.
Denial is a drug. Get help. The partnership at drugfree.org.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Now, some action from the courts. Billie Jean King renewing her rivalry with Arthritis. First set, furious volley, and right to the net for a winner. Beautiful forehand there. Arthritis, stunned. And here, match point. Billie Jean with the ace, taking it in straight sets. Afterwards, a jubilant Billie Jean King.
Tennis is a weapon for me with arthritis. There's nothing like it for me to hit a ball, run to the ball, anytime, any court. I'm ready. Let's go.
What's your weapon against arthritis? Find out at fightarthritispain.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Steve Sams. Steve Sams is in studio with the Yavapai Yelpers, part of the National Wild Turkey Federation. I can get this all right, I swear. Yavapai Yelpers. Tell me about the Yavapai Yelpers. What are you?
Well, we're one of the chapters in the state. There are 6 chapters in the state.
Okay.
One in Flagstaff, one in Cottonwood, Prescott, Phoenix, Sierra Vista, and Tucson. And we're one of the chapters that conducts a fundraising banquet every year to raise money for all of the things that we do, all the conservation efforts, scholarships, donations in the community, turkeys, and all those kinds of things. We are 8 years old. The National Wild Turkey Federation is 40 years old this year. Mm-hmm. The Yavapai Yelpers and the Mingus Longbeards, I believe, were started within a year of each other. So we're a relatively young organization, but we were heavily involved in a lot of conservation efforts.
Tell me about the conservation efforts. Let's get into that a little bit. Some of your projects you've done.
You were participating in one of them. That's the relocation and augmentation of populations of turkeys. Like we put turkeys on Mingus Mountain 3 times, 3 different transplants, in the Bradshaws, at the head of the Verde River. The Turkey Federation works with Arizona Game and Fish in that effort to capture, bait, capture, and then release, to get the populations, where we want them to be and where they want them to be. And
how do you bait a turkey?
With cracked corn.
Okay.
You put corn out in a line and you have a rocket net behind it, and the birds come in for several days getting used to that corn, and then when you get a bunch of them there, you punch the button on the rocket nets and it fires over the top of them. You run in there and secure them so they don't hurt themselves, put them in translocation boxes, which the Federation provides, and then they're hauled to whatever part of the state where they're going to be relocated.
How is it working out?
Very well.
Because you've done it several times up on Mingus Mountain,
yes,
right?
I think we put a total of 53 birds on Mingus. There was a small population that was there from an effort that had been done by Game and Fish years before, but it was not doing well. There wasn't enough of a nucleus for them to reproduce. But they're doing quite well now. I was up there this fall, and every day we saw a turkey. Everywhere I went, I saw a turkey sign, turkey tracks, feathers.
So there was a time when we didn't see that up there. You couldn't see it on a daily basis.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So the population is building slowly, which is fine, but it's moving in the right direction.
And we're putting the Miriams up on Mingus and Bradshaw's? Okay.
Correct.
Because the other ones only stay in that one corner of the state. Will they not? Would the Gould turkey not do well up here as opposed to the Miriam?
No, they're used to different vegetation, different foods, and that sort of thing. Where the Miriam's turkey is keyed to the kinds of plants and food sources that we have here.
Now the Yavapai Yelpers, what else do you do conservation-wise? You helping with getting the turkeys relocated?
We do that. We work on various projects, water development projects. One of the misconceptions is that all we do is turkey things. Well, that's not true. We're about doing things for wildlife conservation. So whenever you put in a water, it's not just benefiting turkey. It's deer and elk and javelina and birds and all of those kinds of things. And so we do that in a manner that all of the animals have access to it. An elk with nice long legs can stick its nose clear down inside of a trough, a stock tank, and get water. But the squirrels, the birds, the rabbits, and things can't. So the waters that we put in are at ground level so that all of the species can get to them. We remove old fences to remove barriers for all kinds of wildlife. We We provide funding for projects for things like prescribed burning, thinning, and those sorts of things.
You mentioned scholarships too.
We do. We do about $4,000 worth of scholarships in the state every year. This year, the Yavapai Yelpers scholarship was up to $1,000. And then if they win that, then they're eligible for a $1,000 scholarship from the Arizona State chapter of the Turkey Federation. And if they win there, then a $10,000 scholarship at our national organization.
Awesome. You're having a good time with it, huh?
Well, we're having a ball. You know, we're involved in a lot of things in the community. We love doing the turkey drive for the Mile High, or the Flying High Turkey Drive.
Yeah, Flying High Turkey Drive.
It gives us a chance to, you know, get out there and have a good time and kind of make fools of ourselves, you know, in the grocery store making turkey calls and getting people excited about donating to the food banks and helping people who are less fortunate.
More helping right there. You brought up turkey calls, and you've got a few there, and we have to take a break in like 3 minutes. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of your turkey calls.
Okay.
You go ahead and start. Which one do you want to bring up first?
Well, probably the most common one, and the one that was used first by European settlers as we came across is the slate, and it is truly a piece of slate.
Okay.
And with a hickory striker, and you replicate the sounds that the hen turkey would make.
The hen turkey, okay.
That would be a yelp.
Well, okay. You say what's a yelp?
The yelp is just a call that the hen turkey will make periodically during the day, but especially during the breeding season, to let the gobbler know that she's around. And
looking for a man.
So yeah. So the yelp and the cluck, which is just a single note. And then a contented call, kind of a purr. It's a noise that they make all day long as they're feeding.
Just walking around doing that thing, huh?
So those three are the basic calls that you know that people use to get a turkey to come in, whether you're photographing them or hunting them.
And you use that when you're out hunting?
Yes.
That's because you're trying to get the guy to come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for the male.
Yeah. In
Okay.
the spring you can only harvest males, and so that's what you're trying to do, is get that male to come in close enough that you can harvest them.
All right, so that one dates way back. What about the wood one there?
Box call.
Box call
was developed later, and it's basically a sound chamber. This is hickory, but it's two pieces of wood with some chalk on one side of it, and you're.
So we're doing the same thing. It's the hen.
Yeah.
We're sounding like the hen, the gal out there in the forest. She sounds lonely.
Well, and they come raspier to represent the older hens, and kind of a higher pitch to represent the younger hens. And
are they typical spring? Spring is breeding season for turkeys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And in Arizona, the department has set it up so that the hunt is scheduled to occur after the majority of the breeding has already happened.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So we want to make sure we got hens out there that are bred and can lay eggs and keep the population going.
Precisely. Give me a couple of shakes off that big one there before we go to a break here.
This is the one we have fun with at the turkey drive.
This is what they hear in the grocery store in the back.
Yeah. Oh, let me turn it on.
Gosh, it's amazing how much it sounds just like it. It's just a piece of rubber and
piece
some
of rubber
plastic.
with a diaphragm in the inside, and that's the sound that the male turkey, to let the other males know that he's in the area and he's got his territory, and also to let the hens know that he's in too.
Now, do you use that call at all to bring in other males?
You can, but when you're hunting on public land, that's dangerous because hunters are going to that sound.
True.
Okay, and you're in full camouflage. So I don't advise you doing that when you're hunting on public land. If you're on private land where you're the only person there, you can use that effectively, but pretty dangerous when you're out on public land.
Yeah. Wow. Steve Sams with the Yavapai Yelpers, part of the National Wild Turkey Federation, in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Having a fire escape plan is very important to keep your family safe and together in the event of a fire. When you awake to the sound of a smoke detector and smoke in your room, Don't stand straight up. Carefully roll off your bed and stay low under the smoke. If your door is shut, feel the door with the back of your hand. Slowly open the door if no heat is felt. Always stay low until you get to the outside of your home. Always have 2 ways out of your house and a specified meeting place somewhere outside your home. Home escape plans should be drawn up and rehearsed on a regular basis. This could be the difference between life and death if caught in a fire.
Yes, ready, ready. Go get it.
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Fire can happen at any time. What would you try to save?
My family photos.
My grandfather's war memorabilia.
My dogs.
I'm firefighter Brandon Wacker with the Cotton Fire Department. A working smoke detector is your best defense in the event of a fire. Make sure you have a smoke detector in every room except your kitchen. Test them monthly and change the battery once a year. Take the time to save the things you can't replace.
Hello everybody, I am Lou Ann Patterson. My family and I would like to welcome you to the Copper Star Indoor Shooting Range, Northern Arizona's premier shooting sports facility. We offer a 25-yard pistol range, a 50-yard archery range, and Arizona's only 100-yard indoor rifle range. In addition, we have a full-line gun shop as well as an archery pro shop. Come check us out. We're located at Highway 260 and Cherry Road, right next to Out of Africa. Looking forward to seeing you all.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Good to have you in studio today. Steve Sams with the Yavapai Yelpers, a chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation, in studio with us today. We're learning about turkeys. We've got a couple of things we want to make sure we mention. Yavapai Yelpers have a banquet you mentioned a little earlier coming up on March 2nd.
Correct.
4 o'clock at Prescott Resort. What's going to happen there?
We have a great time. It's an event where we have all kinds of prizes, art, stuff for your home, guns, hunts, all kinds of things for people who are interested in the outdoors. And we especially cater to families and kids. Mm-hmm. We have about usually 40 to 45 kids, or our Jakes as we call them, the
Jakes.
Juniors acquiring knowledge, ethics, and sportsmanship. Mm-hmm. And we have a calling contest for them.
Nice.
And we have a goodie bag for them to get all kinds of stuff, special games, that kind of thing. We have events or special prizes for ladies, and it's a good family event. And
the money raised goes
we
right back
raise
into
money to do all the kinds of things that we do: the scholarships, the donations for the the turkey drive, the conservation efforts, buying the materials and stuff that we use for those improvements on the land, and that's how we get that money. So we hope people come out and support us. And
you bet. And then in April, the Juniors Turkey Hunting Camp. So
yes,
you got a kid that's interested in turkey.
One of our big deals, the Arizona State chapter, which is made up of those 6
smaller chapters,
put on Juniors Turkey Hunting Camps, where we, for free, for 3 days, we have junior hunters out there and take them out with mentors who are experienced to teach them how to hunt turkey. And we feed them, we entertain them, we educate them. They get all kinds of activities during those camps. And if people are interested in having their kids, this is an easy way for kids to get introduced to the outdoors, no risk, very safe. And if they go on our website, which is nwtfarizona.org, they can see the schedule of events, banquets, and other kinds of activities that are going on, including those camps.
Well, we're out of time. Steve, thank you so much for coming in and teaching me about turkeys. All of us about turkeys, the wild turkeys. If you need more information, you can call Steve at 848-4549. Steve Sams, the Yavapai Yelpers. I'm Paul David. That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting Station.